So good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I like that. A little energy after lunch, right? This is good. So thank you very much for having me. Again, my name is Nigel Stevens. I'm with Accenture Federal Services. Even more, I am an alum of Montgomery College, right? So in more ways than one, right? So I grew up in Gaithersburg. I went to Watkins Mill High School, and my entire elementary school, junior high, high school experience, college credit, summer courses, winter courses. I took a lot of classes at Montgomery College. Wonderful experience. So this is very special to me and very important to me to play a role in helping you all today. Why am I here? Because Accenture Skills to Succeed program has identified some key areas that a lot of folks, when they're graduating from college and they're entering the workforce, are missing. All right, so resume writing skills, interview skills, public speaking skills. These are the soft skills, quote unquote, soft skills that people talk about that are essential for success throughout your career, regardless of what path you take, whether it's math major, engineering, science, if you're going to be doing a medical degree, if you're going to be doing business. All of these things are going to require the type of skills that we talk about during these presentations. So has anyone sat through any of these before? You've got, and which one did you do? Excellent. Okay, so we've done work on global business opportunities, global corporations. We've done things like public speaking like we're going to do today. We've done things on technology, innovation, and the jobs of the future. So all of these things that we need to know about as we go about building the skills in our careers. Okay? Public speaking, why is that important? Why are presentation skills important?
Because that's how we pitch our businesses.
That's how you pitch your business. What else? Yes. What else?
That's how we persuade people to listen to us in a way.
Yes, absolutely. What else? This is great. You guys are sharp. Who needs this presentation? Who needs a PowerPoint? This is good. What else?
It tells them a lot about you.
This is how we present ourselves. Every single time you stand up before an audience can be of 1 or 100, you are presenting yourself. Right? This is the image that you want people to take of you. And particularly in a business atmosphere, this is very important. Okay? What we've found is the majority of what people take in is not as much what you say, but how you say it and how you deliver it. Are you exuding confidence? Do you look like you know what you're talking about? Is this something important to me, and is something important that I should be paying attention to? Once you get past those barriers, then we're going to get to the content. So what we're going to do today, we're going to go through and discuss what the purpose of communication skills are and why it's important for us to go through them. A quick exercise to practice, and then we're going to get into some of the skills that we're going to go through, and we're going to actually apply that. So we're going to be very interactive today, so be prepared. I just called on people, so I appreciate you guys volunteering. And then we're going to really wrap up and talk about what we've learned today and how we're going to take this moving forward as we leave and continue on throughout our careers. Okay? Okay. So we've touched on some of this already. There are really 2 purposes of every presentation. Either you're informing or you're persuading. Either you're educating your audience on something that you want them to learn about, or you're persuading them to convince to actually take an action. Okay? So, this is where we start getting interactive. What makes a presenter effective? Give me some examples of things that will help you pay attention and get your point across.
Knowledgeable on whatever they're speaking about.
Knowledgeable on what they're speaking about.
Good volume, because if the audience can hear you, that they're not going to pay attention to you.
Good volume.
Gets the point across clearly and doesn't over-exaggerate the point. Like, it doesn't take forever.
The horse is dead. Stop beating it. Thank you. Yes. Go ahead.
Confidence.
Confidence in what you're saying. And where does that come from?
Knowing what you should be.
Which goes right back to being knowledgeable in your presentation. Passionate and enthusiasm. If I don't care about what I'm talking about, why should you? If I'm like, oh, you know, we're doing some presentations and we're going to be talking about some things, and it's going to be good for you to know? How many of you guys would care about what I'm saying?
Say
Right?
what?
Exactly. Go ahead.
Strong introduction is really important to gain viewers' attention.
Why is that important?
Because if without a strong introduction, there's pretty much no goal set up to where your presentation's going, and it can only go downhill without a strong introduction, and it lose our attention, and we just wouldn't lose interest.
So I'm going to call on you as soon as I get to the next slide, because that's an excellent point. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna feed on to what she said with body language.
Mhm.
I think that plays a big role in it, how you actually
Speak with
act.
your
Yeah.
hands. Like what you're doing.
Excellent. One more.
Yeah, I was just gonna piggyback on that, like 70% of communication is nonverbal, so you have to have like the right physical presence as well.
Did you guys teach this class already? Clearly, this is. I need you guys to come start having some conversations with folks at Accenture. This is good. I love this. So again, what you say versus how you say it and how you deliver your message and how it comes across. All right, you guys are right on top of it. Now, my friend in the blue shirt, this is where the importance of your introduction comes in, getting their attention. What's in it for them? What is in it for the audience? Why should they care about what you're saying?
Because they can benefit from it and gain knowledge.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so have you ever seen? There's a old cowboy stereotype of somebody called a snake oil salesman. Have you ever heard about that? And they're like, oh yeah, this is it. We're going to be telling. It's going to be great for you. And it's the vaudeville act, right? Why was that effective? I mean, they're selling nothing, right? And they're making tons of money off of it. You see the folks on the infomercials. They're like, yeah, you just buy this spray and you'll be able to build a boat out of mesh and float. It'll work. Why does that work? Because they come across immediately and say, this is why this is going to be good for you. This is why you need this new ring. This is why you need this new jacket. This is why you need this new air circulating oven thing. I saw it on television last night. I was like, it's an oven that circulates air around chicken, which, but for easy payments of $29.95, you need it. But it's the idea of getting immediately across of what's in it for them. Okay? Then the young lady in the back, establish your credibility. This is why I'm here. This is why you should be paying attention to what I'm saying. Why I'm here today is because public speaking is what I do every single day. Right? And it's not a PowerPoint presentation every single day. Right? We're going to go a little bit later in one of the exercises, and I want you guys to practice your 30-second pitch. It can be 30 seconds on anything. Right? But in the world of government relations, you've got 30 seconds to get people's attention. We call it the elevator speech. All right? You guys heard of the elevator speech. It's in business, it's in politics, it's in everything. You have 30 seconds to get somebody's attention to get 1 minute. If you can get their attention in 30 seconds and make them want to talk to you, you can get 1 minute. If you can then give content within that 1 minute, you can get 10 minutes. And if you get 10 minutes, you're in. Okay? So can you do that 30 seconds? Can you get their attention? Can you establish credibility? And then can you get through your main points? This is tell them what you're going to tell them, tell it to them, tell them what you just told them. Right? Very old school because it works. It works every time. It's consistent. Deliver your main points. If you're giving a presentation, how many main points should you have? 3. It could be a 30-minute presentation. It could be a 2-hour presentation. But the mind will remember those three key points. Right? And you can keep coming back to those key points. But those 3 key points are going to be the takeaways that they have during the presentation. Okay? And then at the end, of course, tell them what you just told them. Summarize your points. Right? It's important for you guys to have presentation skills. This is a skill that's going to take you throughout your career. These are the things you're going to learn, and this is what we have learned. Okay? All right, let's get down into the nitty-gritty of it. Projection, pitch, pace, pause. The 4 Ps. You guys have touched on a lot of these already. I've been in a lot of situations where people get up and talk and they keep going and keep going. And a lot of times they're very nervous, so they speak very quickly and then they keep going, and then you don't really have a time to absorb what they're saying, so you're not really hearing what they're saying because you need time to actually absorb it and take it in. You need to give your audience time to hear what you said and give them time for their brain to absorb what you just said. Because if they're busy trying to track what you're saying and you're talking very quickly and it's very hard for them to keep up, you're going to lose them. It also gives you an opportunity to provide emphasis. If the point is very important, make sure they understand it. Okay? Pace, pitch. I made this, I was doing a presentation to a university. I was at Towson, and I asked a question. Unfortunately, it was in front of my old econ class, and it didn't get the best response, but I'm going to ask anyway. How many of you guys have been in a classroom where your professor speaks at a very monotone voice, and it's pretty consistent, and you wish they would just fluctuate just a little bit so you could stay awake? Okay. How bad is that? How terrible is that? Right? It's important. This is, you're in your class, you're trying to pay attention, but because there's such a monotone voice and they're not fluctuating, it's very hard to pay attention and keep track of what they're saying. Okay? Fluctuating your voice shows, who was the person that said enthusiasm in there? Yes. All right? If I care about what I'm saying, not everything I say is going to be the main point. So if it's not the main point, why am I speaking everything at the same level? Or, if it's not the main point, why am I so excited to talk about the general things that aren't really the main point? It's not natural speaking styles, right? So follow your natural speaking styles. You want to actually have some pitch. Projection, we talked about it before. You're not talking to the person in the front row, you're talking to the person in the back row. And make sure the folks in the back are as engaged as the folks in the front. Okay? Any questions? Any comments? Okay, we're going to get into it.
Copy of this?
Sure. Can we email a copy to the class when this is done? Excellent. Okay. All right. We've talked about eye contact. We've talked about hand gestures and placement and movement of the feet. So eye contact can be a challenging thing because a lot of folks will do presentations. You guys ever seen folks do this?
Yes.
Okay. If you're gripping the podium, I don't like podiums. I've had many presentations where folks are, and they'll stand and they'll talk, and they'll hold on to the podium and they won't move, and then they'll point. And the whole time you're sitting there and you're staring, your neck is stiff because you haven't moved, and then you just look. Okay? The idea is to engage the audience, right? If somebody's not looking you in the eye, do you believe what they're saying? Does it matter if you're standing one-on-one or you're sitting in the audience? If you never make contact with the speaker and they never make contact with you, how are they delivering the message? And how are they making sure that the message that they are trying to convey is the message that's being received? Okay? If they're not making a connection with you, how do you know? Right? You're not engaged. You wouldn't be engaged. You wouldn't be able to hold the attention. Right? So eye contact is very important. Hand and arm gestures, we talked about that before, but be careful. I have some colleagues that are brilliant. So brilliant that their brain works extremely quickly. And the way that they are able to organize their thoughts in very complex matters. Did you guys ever see that movie with Tom Cruise where he was like, they could tell the future of crime? Minority Report. Do you remember that screen that it was the pictures and he's like, okay, we're going to put this over here, we're going to do this over here, and we're organizing, and he's putting a storyline together? Well, I have colleagues like that, right? Their brain is working and they're doing math and they're doing engineering in their mind and they're reorganizing and they're doing this and they're doing that. And by the time you're done, you don't remember anything they said. All you remember is that there must have been a fly in the room because they're swatting after something. Right? So be careful when you're doing the hand gestures. You definitely want to be engaged, but you don't want to go over the top. Placement and movement of the feet. Will admit, I move around quite a bit when I present. It's part of my nervousness. It's also part of how I try to engage different parts of the room. But it's also the fact that I just really hate standing behind a podium. And I think this becomes more interactive. But try to actually talk to the audience. And when you're talking to the audience, you find yourself actually pointing your feet to the audience versus folks who are just constantly walking back and forth. Okay? So try to keep that in mind as you're moving forward with your skill training. Notes and visual aids. How many of you guys are required to use PowerPoint when you do presentations for a class? Okay. Do you do notes with your PowerPoint, or do you just do the PowerPoint and point to that? Just the PowerPoint? Most of the time? Okay. So here's the challenge that I've seen with a lot of folks with notes and PowerPoint. They get to the podium, and they have their notes, and they do this. And they're fidgeting with the notes while they're doing the PowerPoint. And you don't know what to pay attention to. Their voice, their face, the PowerPoint, or this. Okay? So try to be careful and be aware when you're using notes versus PowerPoint and or in addition to PowerPoint. This one, do not apologize. I don't agree with this one. Because I've been in situations where I've been doing presentations and I forgot my point that I was supposed to make and had to go back to my notes. And you say, own the room, right? No one expects your presentation to be perfect. The only person who knows what you are supposed to be presenting before you present it is you, right? So if you forget a point, you say, excuse me, I've got to get back to my notes. Go and get your notes. Did everybody see last presidential campaign? Rick Perry, governor of Texas, had a very adamant point that he was going to eliminate 3 federal agencies to save government money, and couldn't name all 3 agencies. but could not go to his notes, right? Got to apologize and say, look, keep it moving. Make your point and keep it moving. PowerPoint presentations. In the consulting world, we are very, very guilty of living by PowerPoint. We are very guilty of reading and over-engineering our PowerPoint slides. Please be very careful. If your PowerPoint slide looks like a paragraph, it's too much information. Okay? If it has a lot of graphics, too many graphics on it, too much information. You want to use large font that people can actually read and as few words as possible. Don't get fancy. Don't use the fancy font. Okay? It's distracting. You want your PowerPoint presentation to enhance what you're saying and provide you with message notes that if you forget your point, you can look back and say, right, I remember I was supposed to say don't overdo the graphics. Right? Not for you to read from. And in big capital letters, do not read the slides. We've all been in situations where somebody's literally reading the PowerPoint to you. And if that's the case, you could have sent me an email. I didn't have to sit through the presentation, right? Okay. So, preparation. This comes with being knowledgeable about your subject. So the subject that we're talking about here is not just presentation skills. It's knowing the audience of the people who are going to be in the audience, right? So knowing business students versus engineering students versus communication classes, right? So doing your research and knowing not only your subject matter, but who you're going to be presenting to, okay? Why is your topic relevant? We've gone through a lot of this stuff. Creating an outline for your presentation. Question, how do you do your talking points? Do you write out your entire message? Or do you just do key points? Everyone does key points? Okay. That's all stylistic, right? But you have to find what works for you and work with that and practice that. Potential questions and potential draft responses, right? don't go to an don't go to an econ class and ask about monotone professors, right? No, that may be a bit of a setup for you. Finalize the presentation and read it through numerous times before you actually give the presentation. It sounds hokey. I know our senior year, junior year of high school, our teachers told us, practice in front of a mirror. I've been doing this for 15 years. I still practice in front of a mirror. I practiced in front of a mirror last night, okay? And I've done this presentation numerous times. But you still got to practice, okay? And that allows you to be comfortable with the material so you can deliver effective content, but also be able to focus on the things on delivery that you really want to focus on, not just on, oh, do I remember what I'm supposed to be saying, okay? Okay. First trial run, second trial run, we'll go through this as we start doing our own practice rounds. Okay. How many people get nervous before public speaking? Okay. Depends on what?
The audience, how important it is. I mean, if I know if it's for a class, and I know the class, I'll feel comfortable for it. If it's for a speech in front of the whole school, for an award or something, that'll be a little bit more nervous.
Okay. So, what is your best subject that you know the best, that you're most comfortable with? It doesn't have to be a classroom thing. It could be anything.
Music.
Music. All right. You're comfortable talking about music. Would you be comfortable talking about music in front of this audience more than you'd be comfortable talking in front of an auditorium?
Depends.
Hey, look, man. I don't care if I'm in front of one person or 1,000 people. I can tell you how great the Pittsburgh Steelers football team is, right? Yeah, I said it. Thank you, thank you. My one guy in the back, I appreciate that, right? So the idea is just knowing yourself, number one, and knowing you're going to be nervous. Admit to yourself, I'm going to be nervous. I was nervous before walking in here. I had never met most of you guys, right? So anytime you speak in front of an audience of strangers, it's natural, right? Acknowledge it, own it, keep it moving. Do not allow it. What was that?
Why is that being nervous? What's the reason behind being nervous?
One of the professors actually, we were doing this presentation at Tacoma Park a few years ago, and they gave us a stat that said more people are nervous about public speaking than they are about jumping out of an airplane. Right?
Die than speak in public.
Right, they'd rather die than speak in public, right? That's right. So I don't know why, I don't know what it is, but it just makes people nervous, and I think it has a lot to do, but then it has a lot to do with judgment, right? If I bring myself up in front of you guys, I'm making myself vulnerable, right? Are they going to accept what I have to say? Am I going to present myself well? Are they going to appreciate the content that I'm giving? Are they even going to care? Are they going to laugh me off stage, right? So all of these things make us feed on our basic insecurity. So how do we get beyond that? Because the issue is not how do we focus on the fact that we're nervous. How do we acknowledge the fact that we're going to be nervous and prepare ahead of time to make sure that we start alleviating those things and check through the box. So as you're walking up to the stage, you go, I know this. I know the content. I practiced this in the mirror 3 times. I practiced this out in the hallway before I walked in. I know what I'm talking about. I know how to deliver it. Right? I made sure that I am prepared in every single way to give the best presentation possible. Right? I dress correctly to fit the bill. Right? You guys are in class. If I came in representing Accenture in jeans and a t-shirt, you guys would be like, who is this guy? Right? This is the guy they send to Capitol Hill? Really? Right? So all of these things are a part of it, right? How you present yourself, the confidence that you have in yourself and in your material as you're moving forward. So how do we address some of those? Meet and greet your audience. I was talking to a number of you guys before the presentation began as soon as you walked through the door. So as soon as you walked through the door, I took control of our relationship. Right? So I had some real personal interaction with some of you guys before this even began. So now, as I started the beginning of my presentation, I looked to you guys, and you didn't even notice it, right? To make eye contact, because I already had a comfort level with you that I did not have with somebody that I did not meet before they walked in, right? So these are just tricks of the trade that you can use. Go and have a conversation with somebody, right? Go steal a cookie, all right? Get a glass of water before you go in. All of these things can help alleviate that concern. Beware of your nervous habits, your twitches, your finger twiddles, right? I used to have a habit of doing this, right? This violates one of those things that we said. What about hand gestures, right? If I've got my hands in my pockets, okay? Increase your volume. A lot of times our natural inclination when we get nervous is to get quiet. And if you get quiet, then that goes back to our other issue of projection, okay? Visualize success. This is something you're going to do not just in presentation, but I promise you in every single thing you do. Take a minute before you actually do it, close your eyes, and visualize doing it. It sounds hokey, I know. I'm not going to ask you to do yoga, it's fine. But it actually works. Visualize success. Visualize yourself doing that thing that was making you nervous before, because your brain, inadvertently, when you get up here, it would not be the first time that your brain did it, right? You were talking about music, right? There's the music you practice, and then you have blind reading, right? You get the new music. How many people play instruments? Okay, so how many you have your prepared music, and then sometimes you have sheet reading, right? They just hand you the music and say, you got to play what's on the sheet to show that you can read the music, okay? If your brain has already been through the exercise of being in front of the audience and having the conversation, it's not the first time you're seeing the music on the sheet of paper, okay? Watch what you eat and drink before you get on stage, okay? Don't have the piece of black pepper in your tooth, right? Try not to, make sure you have your full facilities about you, right? Don't be in a hurry. Get there early, prepare, okay? I know a lot of folks that do presentations, they're running in. Presentation begins at 1:30. You guys get there at 1:25. They get there at 1:28 and sweating. Not a good way to start off, okay? We talked about getting things like finding a friendly face in the crowds. Okay, now it's your turn. Okay, how many people do we have? 1, 2. Let's just separate this way, and the first 2 rows here, and the last 3 rows in the back, you guys are together, and we'll do 3 and 3 in the back. Okay, so this is your elevator speech, okay? I want you guys to give me a subject for your team. 30 seconds.
The weather today?
The weather today. You can't take weather. Give me a subject. Nope, give me a subject. Sports. Okay. Guys in the back. You can't do weather or sports. It's like the evening news. Okay. Money? Money. Okay, you guys are talking money. And puppies. Last 2 rows, puppies. Vacation. So we got puppies, vacation, weather, sports, money. Okay. You guys have 2 minutes to get your talking points together. Hold on. You guys have 2 minutes to get your talking points together, and then I want you to pick 2 people out of your group each to give their 30-second pitch. Ready? Go. We're going to go in reverse order. What was my last group? The last group was puppies? Okay. Team puppies.
Team building.
Who is your speaker? Okay, come on up. You got 30 seconds. Go.
Hi, my name is Ebony Garcia, and in March of 2014, I had my first experience with a dog. I got a little puppy. It's a Shih Tzu Terrier, and I got that dog because I'm allergic to dogs, but I wanted my daughter to have a dog, so I got a hypoallergenic dog, and it was really cute, and it used to fit right here, and it was really lovable, and it's black and white, and lots of fur, and it looks like a little bear.
Stop. Let's see. Let's do sports. Who's our person? Ready?
Hello, my name is Abdul. I'm going to talk about why it's important to be actually involved in sports. Number one reason being is, you have a place of community with your sports team, and also for health benefit wise, and also if say you're a high school student, the opportunity for you to go through college, have scholarships. If you're involved with sports, it actually open doors for you to be able to have those benefits.
Okay. Money, team money.
Ooh, money team. Oh wow.
Retiring.
Ready? Go.
Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys about money, and I'll give you a fact. In 1910, the Model T cost $850. Today, a Honda Accord costs $22,000. But the Model T was cheaper. What does that mean? That means it costs 42 ounces of gold, and now, the Honda was cheaper, and now Honda costs 21 ounces of gold. Because we have something called inflation. Inflation is more dollars competing for the same goods.
Stop.
Gold maintains the value.
The Weather Channel.
Are we doing two? Or
Weather Channel. One person. Okay. Ready? Go.
Hey, my name is Antonio, and I'm here to talk to you about why you love the fall. Well, fall's the sweater weather. You can wear a sweater, you can wear shorts, and it's beautiful outside. You can go running without dying of sweat. You can go with one water bottle and hike, and you'll love it. Second of all, you can wear hats like fedoras and still feel like the summer, and be cool about it. Thank you.
Who do you have left?
Tell me
Right.
one story.
Antonella.
Go.
Alright, my name is Antonella. Who here loves to go on vacations? Raise your hand. Alright, so I'm going to tell you why Ecuador is the best spot that you can go. It has all the 4 things that you'd like to see. Island, the Galapagos, the coast, the Andes Mountains, and the Amazon. Besides that, if we have organic, yummy food. It's super cheap. Everything is, fresh from the market. We also have great people. Everybody's super friendly, and you have cheap prices. Everything's cheap.
Stop. Did we get all the groups?
Yeah.
We got everyone. Okay. All right. So let's go through and let's talk about what we identified as some successes and some things that we can do better. Okay. Let's start off with our key points. Remember, eye contact, hand gestures, projection. How did we do? Matter of fact, we'll go back to the. Where are 4 Ps? Okay. What did we learn from the first speaker?
Puppies.
What about puppies?
They're cute.
What else?
Just black and white.
Okay. So she got your attention with a subject matter that got people's attention. Yeah, right? You know the size of the puppy.
Yeah, it was small.
You know where the puppy used to lay. Okay.
And it's something about allergies. Like it's not.
Hypoallergy, right? So there's some people in the audience that may have allergies as well. So, right? So you're connecting with the audience. Okay. What else? What about money?
Gold.
It has inflated ever since back in the day.
Right? So what did we learn about the presentation? Remember, this is the 30-second pitch. Do you want to go back and talk about a Model T? Okay?
I don't
Were
know,
we
I'm
pre-
pretty engaged, I'm pretty interested. It depends.
Because of the cost, right? So it depends. Go ahead.
It depends on your crowd. Bethesda, Rockville area, most people wouldn't know what a Model T is.
He's got a point.
So we're gonna have the age conversation. Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? Okay. Okay.
Age and preferences, so depending on, like you said, it may have been interesting to some people.
Just remember the 30-second. What's the purpose of the 30-second pitch? The purpose of the 30-second pitch is to get you a minute.
Yeah.
Right? So this is not as much about the content as it is about the projection. Okay? So projecting your voice, making eye contact with the crowd. Okay? Using as much hand gestures as you need to get your point across, but not overdoing it. Okay? So that was consistent. I liked what I saw. Let's try it again. Okay? This time, we're going to do the same thing, 30 seconds. We're going to emphasize your gestures, your projection, your pace. Where is it? The 4 Ps. Pitch, pace, pause. Don't worry so much about the content. This is 30 seconds. That's a subject we just made up, right? Pitch, pause, projection, pace. Hand gestures, focusing to the audience, body language. Okay? Let's do the other way. Let's do weather again. Who's up? Doesn't he know? Somebody different. Someone different. We're not going to put all the pressure on the same people.
No pressure.
I will call on you. Oh, come on. You can talk about the weather.
Oh, you were talking to her?
You can talk about the weather. Come on. Come on. Go for it. What do you have to lose? Come on. There we go. All right. All right, ready? Remember, your 4 Ps, hand gestures.
Take a breather.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
Go.
Hi everybody, I'm Michaela and I'm here again to talk to you about why fall is your favorite season. One, as Antonio pointed out, the weather's great. You can wear shorts, you can wear long sleeve shirts and you'll still be comfortable. There's tons of things to do outdoors. Hiking, running, you can hang out with your friends. And fashion. Fashion's great this time of the season. All the stores are coming out with new clothing lines, magazines, they're full. Done.
She had 30 seconds. Hold on. You had 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
And you used 24.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay? No. The point is, if you have 30 seconds, it's your time. Right? President Ronald Reagan had a great line one time. He said, look, I paid for this microphone and I intend to use it. I'll take as much time as I need. If you get 30 seconds, take the full 30 seconds. Right? You can slow down and get take a little breather and you'll be fine. Who's next? We're going to go right down this line. Who's next?
Okay.
Come on.
That's the spirit.
Pitch, pace, pause, projection.
Okay.
Okay? Go.
Okay, hello, my name is Audrey. Antonella told you why to travel, but I'm going to tell you why not to travel in the winter to Boston. So it's really cold in Boston during the winter. Everything you have to walk to. So when you're walking, you're cold. You don't have a jacket if you didn't bring a jacket. And we went to Fenway Park, so we have to travel by walking everything or getting a cab. And transportation is really hard during the winter. So don't travel to Boston in the winter.
Stop. What's the key takeaway in that presentation?
Not travel to
In
Boston.
the winter.
Right?
Don't go to
Okay.
Boston.
Puppies again. Give me somebody new.
Teresa.
Ready? Yeah, you don't want to stand there. Sorry. Ready? Go.
Hi everyone, I'm Teresa. Ebony pointed out how adorable puppies are, but you gotta think, if you gave dogs the ability to have artificial intelligence and you gave them the ability to communicate with humans, you gotta think, what would they do with that? So let's see, we neuter puppies. We put them in the dog shows, And we just treat them like animals, because that's what they are. You gotta think, if they could have this ability to talk to us, don't you think they would do that same thing to us? And they could just rule the
Stop.
world?
Okay. What were the key points?
If dogs could, they would rule the world. If dogs could, they would rule
So let's learn from this. What were the key points that you wanted to convey in your 30 seconds?
How dangerously adorable puppies are.
Did anybody get that was dangerously adorable?
Yeah, I mean, she said it was dangerously adorable. Yeah, in a way, yeah.
So hold on. So what I picked up was, if dogs could talk, we treat dogs like animals, and they could rule the world.
That's true.
And right, so the key points that we want to know what we want to deliver before we do our 30 seconds. And it does not, 3 is the max. You don't need to have 3. You can have 1 point. Dogs are adorable. Let me tell you why. Do you think dogs are adorable? I think dogs are adorable. Let's discuss why.
They cuddle with you.
That's all your content. That's in your 1 minute, right? This is the 30 seconds of, I think dogs are adorable and you should too. Let me tell you why. Right? So don't try to fill 1 minute of content into 30 seconds. That's not the point of a 30-second presentation. That's not your 30-second pitch. Your 30-second pitch, again, is to do what?
To get that 1 minute.
The 30-second pitch is to get that 1 minute. The 1 minute is where you give the foundation, your 3 bullet points of your content, which then gives you the opportunity to give more detail and give an extended presentation. Your 30-second pitch, the whole purpose is to get more time, get them engaged, and get them wanting to hear more. Sports.
Talk about the Giants.
Okay, ready? Go.
All right, my name is Malik, and I'm going to tell you guys why you should support Washington, D.C. sports. In the past, D.C. sports are very successful and amusing to watch and be a fan of. And many of you guys are my same age, so now it's hard to be a D.C. sports fan. But there's much hope for the future, and if we support our team, we can support our economy and help bring back sports and the love of sports back to D.C. Thank you.
22 seconds out of 30. Okay? Now, what do we get away from, what do we take away from that?
Support DC sports.
Why?
Economy. The economy is going to help the economy.
What else?
Audience age.
Audience age. He connected with the people in the audience. Say, look, you guys are like me. I understand how hard it is to be a DC sports fan. Some teams more than others. Right? But he connected with the audience, and it made you want to have more of a conversation. So, okay, so the economy. Tell me why. Tell me why it's going to be important to the economy for us to get that. So it opens the door for a future conversation. He didn't use the whole 30 seconds. But he knew what he wanted to convey to the audience, connected with the audience, and delivered the message, and kept it moving. Money team. Nope, somebody else. We're not going to put it all on one person.
It's difficult. When we're here, it's like, especially if you're
Ready?
Ready?
Go.
All right, my name is Trey. I'm here to talk to you guys more so about money. Money is one of the most important things to our economy, and more so, we all love to spend money on things we don't necessarily need. So in order to learn how to use your money, you need to learn how to save your money. If you want to learn how to save your money, I can definitely give you some pointers on that. All
right. We're going to do that one again. No, come here. No, come here. We're going to do that one again. We're going to do that one again. That was 17 seconds. Okay? So, right? So we're gonna start back. No, good points, but give us some more content. What is the meat of why they should want to save their money, right? So that's an opportunity for you to re-engage the audience and say, if you want to save your money, I can give you some tips about how. But how do you engage them and tell them why they need to come and ask you for more information? Why should they come back to you to talk to you? Why is it important to them to save money?
That makes sense.
Okay? Ready? Go.
So I know, like myself and the rest of you, none of you like being broke. A lot of you like going out Friday through Sunday, and sometimes not waking up till like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And in order to do that, the way you have to the way you have to manage your money is you have to do it smart. You have to learn how, you have to understand what you're spending money on, you have to understand how you spend your money and do it the correct way versus the wrong way.
There you go. That's for the rest of your time. Right? Well done. Well done. Well done to all of you guys. Well, very well done. So again, engage your audience. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them the content. Tell them what you just told them. What's the purpose of the 30-second pitch? What's the purpose of the 1-minute pitch? Thank you. Okay, we're getting there. So we could do the 1-minute one, but we've already covered that. Any questions? This is your. We've covered this. We don't need to go through another exercise. Questions, comments, discussions. What have we learned today?
1 leads to 10. I mean, 30 leads to 1. 1 leads to 10.
There you go.
10 you're in.
10 you're in. If you can sit down and hold somebody's attention for 10 minutes, then it's all about your content. And if you're confident in your content, you're good to go. What else? Anybody remember the 4 Ps? Yes. We're killing it on this side of the room. I don't know what you guys were doing. I should have been over here the whole time. What else? What else have we learned? We've got our 4 Ps. We've got our time.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you lose your audience after 10 minutes?
Yes.
You can. If you don't.
As bad as not starting well.
If your information is not compelling and you don't keep going back to the points, the main points, then you can ramble on, yes. Right? But the idea is you can have a 3-hour presentation and each hour is based on one point that you're making and you're giving the support for each major point that you're giving. But you're only really delivering 3 points. Right? So it's not the length of the presentation that you're giving, it's making sure that whatever you're saying remains relevant to the audience. What else did we learn?
Both connect to your audience and know your audience.
Great. What about nervousness? Some tips on avoiding nervousness.
Know that you know what you're going to say, you prepare for it, you really talked about it to yourself, and to be confident about it, to show it in your body language and in your tone of voice.
Excellent. What else?
I actually have a question about what we learned earlier today about dressing. If I'm trying to approach a certain crowd as I'm one of them and I'm no superior than them, like you came here dressed up because you work in the Capitol, but if I were in your shoes, I would have came to school with normal clothes. How do I know to differentiate what's appropriate?
That is a very good question. So, at Accenture, we dress to meet the needs of our client. The client comes first in all categories, right? So if I walk to my client site at Food and Drug Administration this afternoon on a Friday afternoon and folks are wearing khakis and a golf shirt, I'd stick out like a sore thumb, right? And I would be making people uncomfortable. You never want to be in a situation where they're paying more attention to what you're wearing or what you're not wearing than what you're coming out of your mouth, okay? So you have to fit the audience, make sure that the message you're trying to convey is what you're conveying and that what you're wearing and what you're delivering is not interfering with that message. So that's a very good point because that does apply in corporate America at all levels, okay? At Accenture, the dress code for the most part is, business casual. So it's slacks, jacket, slacks, blazer, button-down shirt, or khakis, button-down shirt, no tie, not necessarily a suit every day, right? Ladies, skirts, dress shoes, slacks, that kind of thing. Jeans, no. Not in corporate setting. Not in most corporate settings. Let me correct myself. All right? Because there are a lot of places where folks are doing coding and things like that, and hey, anything goes. We've talked about those things even in preparation for our new hires with regards to things like tattoos and things that are visible that could serve as distractions. That's reality. Okay? Do not want to take away from anyone's individuality and them expressing who they are, but you have to understand that reality in corporate America and reality in the business world, that can be a challenge, right? Making sure that you're presentable and clean cut regardless of whether or not you're wearing a golf shirt or a suit and tie. Okay? I'm wearing a suit today because despite the fact that it's Friday, this wasn't the only presentation I gave. And the folks who I was talking to earlier, they were all dressed like this. Right? So you have to, I agree, know your audience, but also there's something about cultural sensitivity as it applies to your work environment. You need to get in and be aware of what the cultural norms are of your work environment and make sure that you are benefiting from it and you're not serving as a distraction from your total skill set. That was a very good question. What else? What else? We were talking about practice, preparation, the mirror thing I do, but you don't have to do that. Go ahead. Visualizing yourself doing the presentation. Yes?
Accepting your nervousness.
Accepting your nervousness.
Controlling your nervous habits.
Controlling your nervous habits. Getting to the presentation early and building a rapport with some of the people that you know are going to be in the audience, so you have people to make eye contact with. So by the time you get into your content, your nerves are down and you're fine. Guys, thank you very much. You guys have touched on every single point that I could possibly imagine. You actually started off better than I expected. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.